Do you love breakdowns? Do you need stats? Do you crave insight? Download the AllStar app. UFC, Bellator, PFL 1 Championship, and more. Ad-free, fully customizable. Download the best app in the business. Link in descriptions. Michael Chandler versus Dustin Gaethje. Let's talk about that fight first, man. It's like if you were going to go up to lightweight, Josh, it's like one of those guys would be one of the fights that you would want, right? Like they are
Yeah,
action packed. They'll sit in the pocket with you, right? That's what you want at the end of the day, right? You want big names with guys that sit in the pocket with you, right?
exactly. I think it's a great matchup. Both great fighters. Michael Chandler being a former Bellator champion, he came over to the UFC, and he's just, they've been really trying to, push him, and he's got huge opportunities and huge fights. Um, I- I'm leaning towards Poirier. Chandler has the knockout power, and he has the endurance for days, and I think he has better wrestling, but Poirier has, I feel like, better striking, and he has better jujitsu. He also just has that experience on his side, and Poirier's a southpaw, whereas I feel like he's fought more conventional fighters, so I feel like he's going to have um, I just feel like he's going to get the better of Chandler on his feet. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the entire card, that fight, and a lot of the other fights as well.
Have you been impressed with Chandler though? Like he's fought some crazy fights, and I think his best win is probably Dan Hooker. Ferguson fight.
Yeah,
Tony didn't look that bad against Chandler right in the
I
first round
I I
until he got caught.
I thought Ferguson was winning that fight, and
Yeah.
then he got caught with that front kick. But yeah, like you said, probably the Hooker finish was his biggest and best performance. Just
Mhm.
because he came in, was that his first fight in the UFC too, and then he
Yes, it
came in,
was.
and he he caught him, and
Mhm.
that kind of blew his stock up, and then he lost to Gaethje, right? And then he fought
Yeah.
Ferguson. So has he only had 3 fights in the UFC?
I think he's had 4 fights in the UFC. Let me check this real fast. I gotta.
Oh yeah, he lost to Charles Oliveira.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. You're right.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, so
with
he's
him, like
two
I
and two.
think, yeah, he's 2-2. He's 2-2. Yeah, he lost to Gaethje and Oliveira, and then his last fight he knocked out Ferguson. Um, yeah, it's an interesting fight, but you know what I want to point to is like Dustin Poirier, because Dustin Poirier, he's a great fighter, and I believe that like skill wise, he's probably the better fighter. It's just like where's his mind at? You know what I mean? Because he
Hmm.
was talking about not fighting anymore, and then now he's fighting again, and uh and he was gonna go
And
to
he's made some
170.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. He's made some money.
yeah.
I still feel that Chandler's thirsty. Like he's really still hungry. You know what I mean? Is
Hmm.
Oliver or is Poirier that hungry? Is he still hungry to chase the title? Because he's fallen short a few times now, right? Fighting for the
Hmm.
title. So this is gonna, I think mentally that's the biggest challenge for Poirier. Like where's his mind at entering the fight? This is what I see. But skill wise, Poirier, man, he's shown much more. Look at his resume; it's insane. Like
Hmm.
he's beaten, and at where his opponents been in their career. That's another thing to look at, right? As well, on the resume, it's like you beat somebody, but where did you beat them in their career? Do you look at that as well?
Hmm. Yeah, it definitely depends on when you when you fought them at their prime, or were they on their tail, or like on their way out. And you see that with a lot of UFC fighters when the UFC is very strategic, and doing so with like big people that they think are going to be their next money makers. They match make it perfect, and it goes just to what you said. It's like for people that were vets, but like they're not in their prime, they're not doing as good as they used to. So then the UFC will match them up, like this up and coming star, with someone that's a big name on their way out, that on paper they know they're most likely going to win, and then they constantly do that to get them to close to the top or the top.
And I think that this is the situation right here. I think that they want to push Chandler. They
Oh
still
yeah,
want to push him.
100%. Yeah, from the get go. That's why he didn't he hop into a title fight his second, or no, it was Gaethje, right? So he beat
No,
Hooker
his
and then he
second fight was
fought.
the title fight against Oliveira.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he
Yeah.
won one fight, then he's fighting for the title. Like that is insane. You know they want to push you if they're doing that, and how they brought him over and they probably paid him big money and stuff like that. So they kind of have to get their money's worth, or their return on their investment. And they're definitely you can see in not every fight, but most of the big fights, like the narrative, who they want to win and who they're kind of pushing, and you see that a lot of people are biased towards who the UFC is trying to push as well.
Yeah, it's when you look at like skill wise, these guys are so skilled. It's just like where are they at their career? Like how much there's another factor as well, is like Chandler has taken a lot of damage in those 4 fights. Like he's
Yeah.
gone in there like a a wild bullet, you know what I mean, just flying all over the room and just hitting everything and getting hit by everything. And Poirier as well. Poirier's been in some crazy wars, in his last couple of fights. He's taken a lot of damage. Just I wonder when that's gonna catch up as well. With these fighters. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be a firefight. It's gonna be one of those fights where everybody's like, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I think it will be crazy because once one of those guys get hit, they're gonna be like, all right, let's just bang it out, because that's what the fans want, and you guys are getting paid a lot of money to do it, so why not? And what's wild is that Islam is saying that, oh, I think the UFC is waiting for me to fight the winner of Chandler Poirier. That's another little twist there too. He said that on Twitter, like, because he's talking shit back to Volkanovski, and he's like, yeah, I think the UFC might be thinking about March against the winner of Poirier Chandler. So I'm like, oh, there's another reason why I'm thinking that they want Chandler to win the fight. I don't know if they want him to win the fight, but
Oh, they do. Yeah.
it's
yeah,
like,
they do.
they do.
Yeah.
It must be good to be in that position, right? I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
To be in Michael Chandler's position where you're coming from another promotion and they're just already on you, like they already want you to be Mr. All America, because I think that's what they're pushing. They're pushing the Mr. All America.
And you can't knock Chandler for that. You can't knock Chandler for that. He's in a good position to be in, but I feel like, my opinion, it's always like that, who they're really pushing or who they want, because it's like if that's what they want and then something happens, it's like you spoil the plan. I feel like I do that a lot too. Like everyone that I'm fighting, I don't think they want me to win, but I keep spoiling their plan.
Yeah, there's always those fighters that spoil the plan, and then eventually spoil too many parties, and now you're the party.
Exactly. So it'll come eventually.